Social Security increases through the elimination of double taxation on Social Security benefits for recipients. Now, I've shared with you guys this. There's a new bill that's been released. This is a game changer. This is going to be huge if they can implement this. However, some breaking news just coming out, being released on updates regarding the double taxation. I'm going to be sharing with you, and this is potentially going to be changing everything. This is huge. Now, I'm going to share with you guys the latest numbers that just rolled out on this, give you guys the updates on this, because there was a lot of people that are pulling for this. We've heard that over 90% of Americans say that there should not be double tax. We pay into Social Security with income tax. Then when recipients receive benefits and they pull from Social Security, they're also taxed on the benefits. Over 90% say this is double taxation. This should not be taking place. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And also, before I dive too far in, let me know if you can hear me and see me okay before I get into the details. Just want to make sure that I am good, as we are live and I'm giving you the latest information coming out on Social Security. Let's see here. Can you guys hear me okay? I see people are saying that they are here, H-E-R-E, but can you hear me, H-E-A-R? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Excellent. All right. And as you guys know, I see people are starting to hop on. These updates, the information that's rolling out, these are cited in the description. I cite all the sources for you so you can get the latest information. And as I mentioned, there's been a lot of talk about the elimination of double taxation for Social Security, which would provide one of the biggest increases to Social Security that we've ever seen for millions of recipients. We're talking about massive jumps, because right now, the way the brackets are set up, you're taxed 50% when you bypass that first bracket, and as much as 85%. And a lot of people, over 90% of people say, get rid of the double taxation. But there is new data that has come out on this taxation, and I want to get your thoughts in the comments down below. So stick around for this. I'm going to give you the updates that are rolling out on this. This article just came out from the Motley Fool that says, are Social Security benefits double tax? Well, the answer isn't as simple as you think. The overwhelming majority of seniors want to see taxation and Social Security benefits done away with. But the dollars that you pay in, then you also are paid taxes. You have to pay taxes when you pull out. I'm going to get into all the details of this for you guys. Now, do me a favor, if you appreciate the updates on Social Security, smash the like button as we dive in here. And also, in addition to that, if this is your first time here, you want to stay up to date on Social Security, the economy, what's happening with Congress, stimulus, anything that could impact you or your family financially, what you need to know, what you could benefit from, or what you need to watch out for, smash that subscribe button. I will keep you guys up to date. Why not? It is totally free. But with that being said, I see we got about 450 people on. Let me go ahead and get you guys caught up on this article and what it is saying. So it says, for most seniors, Social Security is an indispensable financial lifeline. More than 2 decades of surveys from National Pulse or Gallup show that between 80 to 90% of the current retirees lean on their payout to cover at least some portion of their monthly expenses. Meanwhile, data from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities finds that no program lifts more people above the federal poverty line than Social Security. This is something that they say is not an entitlement program. This is something that we pay into. And then when it's time for us to pull it, we need it to be available. We need it to be there to help. And they're saying over 80 to 90% of people rely on this. And a lot of people, it's the majority of the funds that they receive to live off of. So they're saying that we must protect Social Security, and we know that we've got a solvency issue coming up. I've covered it here on the channel several times. That is why we're seeing so much bills and legislation coming out right now to reform the entire program. But just because Social Security is vital to the financial well-being of tens of millions of current retirees, it does not mean that there isn't controversy surrounding how the program should be funded. Now, there's no aspect of Social Security that retirees loathe more than the taxation of their benefits. Let me know in the comments. We've heard over 90% say, do away with the double taxation. We're taxed when we work, we pay in, and we're taxed again when we take out. Now, in July, an informal poll from senior advocacy group, the Senior Citizens League, found that an overwhelming 94% of respondents believe that Social Security benefits shouldn't be taxed. Stop the double taxation. The hatred of this tax comes from the belief that taxing Social Security benefits is a form of double taxation. The idea being that earned income, wages, and salary, but not investment income, is taxed during a worker's time in the labor force and is then being taxed again vis-a-vis their Social Security payout during retirement. Are Social Security benefits being double taxed? Well, the answer is very surprisingly yes and no, depending on how much you earn and where you live. Now, we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. Now, the ins and outs of how Social Security generates revenue. Well, I'm going to directly address in what instances double taxation does and does not take place with regards to the Social Security income. We first have to examine how Social Security is funded. Now, this is very interesting. Listen to this. This knowledge is paramount to understanding why certain situations are and are not examples of Social Security double taxation. Now, in 2022, listen to this. This is shocking. And this is the breaking news that I want to share with you guys on the double taxation bill that has been presented. In 2022, the Social Security program, it brought in about $1.22 trillion in revenue. Now, also keep in mind, $1.22 trillion for the year 2022 is still not enough for the amount that goes out. We have a shortfall. We are running out of funds. But there was $1.22 trillion in revenue from three separate funding sources. First, the payroll tax, which brought in $1.1 trillion. Second, net interest of $66.4 billion. And listen to this, the third source that brought in funds, taxation of benefits, $48.6 billion. So they are literally taxing recipients on the funds they receive, taking that tax and using it to fund Social Security further. And last year, how much did they double tax? How much did they tax recipients when they pulled out? $48.6 billion. Now that is massive. And here's the thing, they received $1.22 trillion. So of that, almost 0.5. So I think that's roughly, I can't think of the math right now. I want to say that's roughly almost a third of the payout of the benefits that they receive came from taxing recipients. So that is huge. If 48.6 billion of 1.22 trillion actually came from taxing recipients. So if they did away with that double taxation, that would essentially cut it down by a third. We'd only have remaining about 70% or so of the funding. That is massive. So that's what's being proposed with the elimination of the double taxation. So right now, the way that the entire Social Security system is structured, it is funded by taxing recipients. That is a large portion of what is being done. So that is huge. Let's see here. Let me just make sure I got that right again. In 2022, the Social Security program brought in about $1.22 trillion in revenue from the three separate funding sources. $1.1 trillion was payroll tax. Okay, so yeah, that does not calculate. I'm actually going to do this really quick here. Let's double check this just to make sure, because that does not sound right. Okay, if it was 480 billion, that would be a third. Okay, so 48 billion of 1.22 trillion. That would come out to, so then 1.22 trillion, 12 trillion would be 10%. So this equals roughly about 3 or 4%. Okay, so that changes things. So that means roughly 3 or 4% comes from double taxation. So 48.6 billion, sorry, my math was off. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm taking a look and I'm adjusting for these numbers, thinking about it. 48.6 billion comes from double taxation, taxing on recipients. So it would decrease the amount of revenues coming in by about 3 or 4%. So that, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We actually could wipe it out. We wiped that out, and that's about 3 or 4% less of revenues coming in. They still got the payroll tax. They still have the net interest coming in, and they still could try to reform things. It would have a $48.6 billion additional shortfall, but at least recipients would receive a full amount without being taxed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, this information just rolled out, like I said. And as I shared with you guys, this is a big, major piece of legislation that is getting a lot of attention right now. We're still waiting to see if Congress is going to bring any of these Social Security bills to the floor for a vote. But at this time, that is a big one. Listen to this. 12.4% of the payroll tax is applicable to all earned income between 1 cent to $160,200 as of 2023. So you have to pay 12.4% in payroll tax up to $160,200 of income that is earned. This range means that 94% of workers are paying into Social Security on every single dollar that they earn. So if throughout your lifetime you never made more than $160,200, or I believe that has gone up over time. It actually was just $147,000 not too long ago. But if you've never made anywhere in that range, roughly 100% of all of your income has been paid into the Social Security system. Taxing wages and salary consistently accounts for around 90% of the money that Social Security collects. So this is the vast majority of it. As we just read, that portion is 1.1 trillion. Now, the 66.4 billion in net interest pertains to the interest that the program earns on special issued bonds and certificates of indebtedness. Now, since inception, Social Security assets reserves have grown to more than 2.8 trillion. By law, the excess capital is required to be invested into interest-bearing special issue bonds. Now, here's the part that we're interested in, the taxation. Listen to this. The third funding source is the aforementioned taxation of benefits. Now, with the program's asset reserves running on fumes in 1983, so where we are right now in 2023, 40 years ago in 1983, Congress passed and President Ronald Reagan signed the amendment of 1983 into law. Among other things, this sweeping overhaul allowed up to 50% of individual Social Security benefits to be exposed to federal ordinary income tax rates in their provisional income topped at $25,000. So this was a piece of legislation when we had a solvency issue with Social Security in 1983 that was enacted to help extend the solvency. That was taxation when you pull at 50% once you pass $25,000 in income, or $32,000 for a married couple filing jointly. Now listen to this. In 1993, the Clinton administration added a second tier of taxation that exposed up to 85% of benefits to federal taxation for single filers and couples whose provisional incomes top $34,000 for singles, $44,000 respectively for couples. The income threshold associated with the taxation of benefits has never been adjusted for inflation. So they're taxing you at these rates, taking 50 to 85%, using it to fund the Social Security funds. And they did that in 1983 and 1993, and those brackets have stayed the same. They have not increased them for inflation. So people are getting these raises, these benefits, and all of a sudden they're going past the tax brackets and they're owing more benefits, more taxes, they think that they're getting this benefit increase, but surprise, you're actually getting way more taxes as well. You're not getting the full amount. In some cases, 85% is being taken. So that's just absolutely insane. You're told that you're getting 8.7% COLA increase. In actuality, you're almost getting nothing if you pass into that upper tax bracket. The income thresholds associated with the taxation of the benefits have never been adjusted for inflation. Over time, more seniors are being exposed to this tax. Now, as I mentioned, this tax that they're doing, $48.6 billion was collected from the taxation of benefits of seniors receiving Social Security. That includes retirement or any of these ones that I mentioned to you that go from the Social Security Administration. Double taxation on the benefits. And they're saying, why is this taking place? So our Social Security benefits double tax, this article is asking you. And it says, now that you have a better understanding of how Social Security is funded, let's get back to the core question at hand. Is taxing Social Security benefits a form of double taxation? For most Social Security benefits, the answer is no. And here's why. According to the Social Security Administration, 56% of beneficiaries will owe some level of tax on the benefits that they receive. This means that 44% of beneficiaries won't be taxed on their payouts. So they're saying no, 44% of people aren't going to be double taxed. Why? Because they have them living on such small amounts that they don't qualify into those tax brackets. But what they're saying is over half, though, they are being taxed on this. They are receiving double taxation. And to me, my personal thought on this, let me know if you agree in the comments, is that they should either increase those tax brackets with inflation, so that way they're not just pulling everyone's benefits and just giving it and then taking it right back, or get rid of it altogether, because we just saw the numbers that were released. This is being released because of the legislation that is getting a lot of attention right now, calling for the elimination of double taxation. This information was released, and they shared with us that it's about $48 billion that went out last year for double taxation. And we just did the numbers very quickly. I double checked on my calculator because the numbers weren't adding up, but then I began to see it only makes up about 3 or 4% of the funding, the revenue that came in for Social Security. So as a result of that, I think that that's something that maybe they could do away with, and they can try to help out recipients a little bit more, and they could figure out a way to get an increase of 3 or 4%, since they need to reform the entire thing. We're already having a solvency issue that's going to hit in the next 8 to 12 years. Why not do away with that, so that way recipients can get that benefit, since it's such a small amount? However, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. They're using that to fund the Social Security program. Now, for the 56% who are paying tax on their benefits, you're not receiving the same dollar that you paid into the program. The funds being collected via the payroll tax from today's working Americans are being doled out to current retirees. When today's workers retire in the years and decades that lie ahead, the payroll tax dollars of new generations of workers will be responsible for funding Social Security benefits. Since you're not getting back the same dollar that you were initially taxed on, it's not being double taxed in a way, they're saying. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, to add, there's absolutely no way to specifically trace the origin of the Social Security dollars that you're receiving. They could come from reoccurring sources, such as the payroll tax and taxation of benefits, or non-reoccurring sources, such as the interest income on the program's asset reserves. The latter doesn't derive from taxation. Now, in addition to that, listen to this. You thought that was bad, that over half of people are having to pay these tax brackets that have not increased in literally decades, despite the fact that we have inflation, despite the fact that there's cost of living adjustments that are needed that are already not keeping pace, and then you're being taxed on it. Listen to this. Residents in 12 states can face double taxation, state taxes too, on their Social Security benefits. However, the double taxation of Social Security benefits can occur at the state level. A grand total of 38 states do not tax Social Security benefits, but if you live in just one of the following 12 states, they do tax Social Security benefits and earn above the present income threshold in those states, double taxation will occur. You'd be paying tax on the very same Social Security dollar at the federal level and the state level as well. Now, here are the 12 states. If you live in these states, you're paying double tax in Social Security. The 12 states, it says, that currently tax Social Security benefits above a certain adjusted gross income or AGI threshold are Colorado, Connecticut, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and West Virginia. Now, the good news is that if you live in these states, is that the income thresholds are relatively higher, often between $45,000 to $85,000 in an adjusted gross income for single filers, or have been climbing in most recent years. For instance, Minnesota and North Dakota, Vermont, West Virginia mirrored the federal taxation of Social Security benefits as recently as 2016. Since then, North Dakota has eliminated the taxation. So North Dakota said, let's get away with this. Why are we taxing people who need Social Security? They eliminated the taxation of Social Security benefits, while states like West Virginia have increased the individual and married filing jointly AGI threshold to 50 to 100,000 respectively. Unless you're generating a meaningful amount of income in one of these 12 states, you're not being double taxed on your Social Security benefits. Wow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So these tax brackets, they keep people from receiving more and more funds from Social Security. They're holding them down, yet their inflation is going up. We should either increase these or do away with them. And then in addition to that, we've also got these states doing it, and they're saying, well, not everybody's being double taxed. If you make close to nothing from your Social Security, we won't tax you on it. But if you make more than $25,000 or $34,000 a year, yeah, we're going to hit you with the 50% tax on all benefits above that bracket. And if you go any higher into the next bracket, I think it was like 44,000, 34 or 44,000, well, then we're going to take 85%. Man, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm not really sure why things are the way they are, but I know that that's just how they are. And you guys, we will see, because there's finally starting to be a lot of questions about why things are being done the way they are as we are approaching reform. Reform has to happen. Otherwise, there's going to be cuts across the board of, I think it's 20 to 25%. There's different projections that come out from the Social Security Administration, the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO. There's data that's released. There's different projections. No one can tell for sure because it all depends on the rate and pace of inflation, but something needs to be done. People are not receiving enough benefits, and that's why this bill is getting a lot of attention, because it could propose one of the biggest increases that we've seen, eliminating the double taxation. Also, increasing the bottom line, from the federal poverty line of 125%. They're saying that would increase benefits at $485 for those receiving the minimum amounts. That is in the 2100 Act and the Expansion Act. And in addition to that, people are saying we need across the board increases of $200, and also just modify the taxation, change the way the COLA is calculated. There's an assortment of things. We've been through it here on the channel before that need to change for Social Security, because those that have paid into this their entire lives, we have literally told them, we have a system for you. We believe in it. They believe in it. You're going to pay into it. And then when it's time for you to take it out, it'll be there for you. We will take care of you. Well, turns out the government saying that they're going to take care of you. Yeah. Now that it's time to pull, they're saying that we're out of funds, and they're trying to figure out how to fund it. So they're like, we're just going to tax you again on it to help fund the benefits we're paying you. So I don't know. We need to see some changes. And I've shared with you the latest coming out from a lot of people pushing for this, and I will continue to do so. I'll make sure that you guys know the latest, because there's been a lot on this coming out on Social Security, you guys. Now, I am live. I've got to hop off here in just a minute, but if I've got a second here, I'll answer any questions. If there's any questions, I'll take a second here to answer any for you guys that you might have. Do me a favor. See, we got over 800 people on Smash the Like button. We've only got 367 likes. Smash the like button for me if you appreciate the updates. Hit subscribe if this is your first time here. I will continue to keep you guys up to date on everything, because make no mistake, Social Security, there needs to be changes. And I believe that we are going to see reform. The question is when and what is going to take place with this reform. But I will keep you guys up to date on whatever unfolds. Whether it's good or bad, just know that I will report to you the latest and make sure that you're up to date on everything. Let's see here. Steve can't, when losing that, exactly. Like, how does that help the Americans that don't make 20? Exactly. Yeah. Classic Sonic Gaming says exactly. Like, how does this help Americans? You're not allowed to make more than $25,000 or $50,000 a year. And if you do, we're going to tax you. Stacy says, does this have anything to do with the federal returns? Thanks, Stacy Ybarra. So this is taxation on Social Security. Missouri eliminates state. Oh, let's see here. They're going by kind of quick. Golden State Warrior fan says, I'm 58. Chuck says, yes, it is true. Nancy says, this should update, brackets. They should update the brackets for starters. Yes, either update them or eliminate them altogether. Working on collecting Social Security, it gets counted as taxable income at year's end unless you have taxes withheld monthly, says Fred. Yes, Fred. But they're saying also, why are you even paying taxes on it? Why not just get rid of it altogether? So that way people can receive 100% of the benefits that they are collecting. You've already paid taxes when you put into it. Now you're paying taxes when you take out. And they're saying, why? And we just took a look at the numbers being released. It only makes up about 3 or 4% of the funding. They're saying, you know, in my personal opinion, 3 or 4% is not a significant amount to provide 100% of the benefits with that taxation to all recipients. You know, if initially I thought it was 30 or 40%, I was like, okay, that's a significant amount that could kill this bill. But 3 or 4%, get rid of it. That's my thought on it. I don't know. Let's see here. Someone says, hear you great, Steve. This is great, except I can't live on $2,000 a month. Exactly, Tina. Totally agree. They need to change the taxation. We won't tax you if you can live on $2,000 a month. That's insane. Let's see here. Isis says it's unbelievable the way that they lie. Tammy, I only got $1,400 a month. Fred says it's being sent to Ukraine for real, y'all. Yeah, you know what? Let me know your thoughts on some of the candidates. I've heard, was it somebody recently, it was Ramaswamy, I think, said day one, stop the war in Ukraine and focus on the American people. Do you like Ramaswamy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I heard that he is coming up in the ranks for the Republican presidential candidate races. It's Trump, then it is DeSantis, then it's Ramaswamy, but they're saying Ramaswamy is gaining traction. Actually, I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow a video that came out from MSNBC, an interview that he did. Man, it was intense. The media is all over Ramaswamy right now. They are just, and he's not holding any punches either. Let me tell you, they go at it. It is insane. Let me know if you saw that. If not, I'm going to release it tomorrow. It was on MSNBC, and it was about 20 minutes of just fighting. It was insane. But you guys, let me see if there's any other quick questions I can answer. Cindy says no. Tammy says yes. Terry says I only get $919 a month. Karen, almost the same. Wow, you guys. Yeah, people are saying they're only collecting $914 a month. And man, I live with $916 a month. It's not easy, says Isis. Yeah. Wow. That's absolutely incredible. And I think that we need to make sure that we take care of those who need help the most. And like I said, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date as more information rolls out. This just coming out this month from the Motley Fool just a couple of days ago. And this is, make no mistake, articles coming out like this as a result of everything that's taking place right now with Social Security and the legislation and the reform that's needed. So as more comes out, you guys, I'll be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel. But I got to hop off. I got to hop into another meeting right now. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. I just saw this come out, and I was like, man, this is pretty big. Let me break down the numbers with my community so that way you guys could see it for yourself. But with that being said, do me a quick favor. Smash the like button if you haven't already. I see we got 760 people on. Wow, 480 likes. Let's see if we can push that up past 500. I appreciate the support. Just that little click tells YouTube that you like it, and they'll share it out as a result to other people that need this information. And if you want to stay up to date, like I said, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. I'll keep you up to speed on everything. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Thank you so much. Oh, 514. You guys rock. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.